All right, guys. Wow. As you can see, I just finished watching the episode 4 of Ranking of Kings, and I just gotta say, Domas, what is up with this guy? We went through a whole segment of the episode showing that he genuinely cares about Bojji. He took the time when he was younger to explain to him swordsmanship, to teach him, because the king ordered it, but you could tell it's something he wanted to do too. He was proud of it. You could see the happiness of him. He took the time to learn sign language. And then this man does that in the episode. I can't believe it. It's crazy. And all the while, he has an evil laugh. But then he starts breaking down into tears. But we'll get more into that in a little bit, but just wow. All right. So welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I bring you episode 4 of Ranking of Kings, and I wouldn't say this is like a hugely impactful episode. You know, we've had more impactful episodes so far, but not every episode of a show can be a 10 out of 10, like, oh my lord, like I can't believe that just happened. No. This episode is setting things up for the future, and we get some good world building in it. So honestly, it's a very worthwhile episode. So let's just kind of get right into it and talk about it, because we got a decent amount to talk about. And it's the return of my handy-dandy notebook, guys. So bear with me if I'm looking down on it. All right, so our episode begins with someone being sent to evaluate the kingdom. Because, you know, the show is called Ranking of Kings, after all. And now that King Boss died, they had to send someone else out to reevaluate the kingdom. And we see that this guy has a history with these people. Apos is the person he has history with. You know, they apparently have long history. And they start discussing about it. And it's revealed that the number one king in the world, I wrote this down, give me a sec, actually gets to choose something from the divine treasure vault. What that is, we don't know. But it's revealed that whoever ranks first in the world as the king gets to choose an item from that. And that in and of itself already sounds suspicious. Let's be honest about that. Because it's also revealed that every candidate that has become first place has picked the same item. And that they either go missing or they go mad afterwards. So that really begs the question, what is it, you know? And judging from the demons and all that we saw from the previous episode, I would assume that it's a cursed item, you know, that drives its wearer insane. But it's honestly quite interesting. I'm really curious to see where we go from there. Because they all pick the same item. It's definitely a head scratcher if you think about it. But yeah, we see that these two have history together. And now I'm sure that'll play a part later, but the Divine Treasure Vault is definitely something that's going to come back later, you know? I'm sure we'll see that. But, you know, that was just a little tidbit of something that happened. I couldn't leave it out because it's an important detail, you know? All right. But now we get into the meat and potatoes of our episode. We see should be King Bojji and the rest of them. And the rest of the gang going out and going on their adventure, you know? They're having a good time. They're in the woods. You could tell Bojji's extremely excited to do it because he's a sheltered kid after all. You know, because he's deaf and he can't very much talk well, he's never had a chance to go outside of the kingdom probably. Or leave the area around the kingdom at the very least. So to him, this is a brand new adventure. And you can tell he loves it. But at the same time, you can also see how naive he still is. Because while they're exploring this town, Bojji, you know, he's nice. He's exploring it. But he's giving out, gold coins and all that. So, of course, people are going to be suspicious of that. And what happens? His bag gets stolen. So we really see that he's still naive in a way. You think about it, you know. He has great character, but he doesn't have experience. That's why this trip is such a good thing for him, I believe. Just going out into the world and spreading your wings when you don't have much experience is by far the best thing for someone. You know, it gives them... I wouldn't say it gives them a purpose per se, but it gives them perspective of how the world is. I think that word applies very well here. It's going to give Bojji more perspective. And we see that later on, actually, when he falls into a trap set by a hunter. And now this hunter, he's weird. Let's just say that. He's weird. He reminded me of Inosuke from Demon Slayer in a way. You know, he's a hunter. He's very strange. He lives in this cave underneath his trap. And he's quite hostile towards Bojji at first. But eventually he warms up to him once he realizes he can't talk and all that. And he goes out and he teaches him a little bit about hunting and how that works. And we get a really cool scene, actually. Actually, we get a really weird scene followed by a really cool scene where they kill a boar, actually, and then they start cooking it. And he does an appreciation dance for it. And he tells Bojji that this is their way of appreciating the cycle of life, you know? Because he explains to him that in this world, we as humans, we kill each other for food and for profit and all that. And they do this dance to show their appreciation for it. And we actually really do get this cool scene where, hold up, guys. Gotta tighten that. All right, we actually do really get this cool scene where it looks like some entity comes and sucks the soul out of this boar, actually. And that's when he starts explaining the cycle of life and death to Bojji. And honestly, it's quite fascinating if you think about it. Even in, like, real life, there's a concept of that gets discussed all the time. Like, where does the soul go when we die? And apparently in that world, it gets sucked up by this entity and released as other souls. I don't really know if that was making other creatures or if that was just like the souls of other creatures that thing has sucked, but it's kind of like a wake-up call a little bit to Bojji, you know? Because like I said, he's very naive. He doesn't understand it, and he has to understand that the world is not always a nice place. And now this guy starts being weird after that, though, because he's looking at Bojji and he's like, are you going to be my next sacrifice? And that's when Bojji pieces out of there. Who can blame him, to be honest? Who wants to be around that? But all right, after they get out of there, we transition actually to Daida, who is talking with the person that came to do the rankings, and he's just completely frustrated because Daida's not King Boss at the end of the day. King Boss was number 7 in the world, but in terms of strength, he was really number 1. And Daida, we see that for all the underhanded tactics he's employing and all that, having Bojji to be assassinated, one of them, by the way, which is crazy, but his own brother. But we see that he wants to do it with his own strength, you know? And I guess as messed up as this kid is, you know, I guess if you think about it, that's kind of commendable. But he's being manipulated by this mirror, and we see that because it's the mirror's idea to assassinate Bojji, saying that a good king has to take measures to make sure that nothing bad happens, and just filling his ear with all this nonsense of, oh, if someone one day could manipulate King Bojji into doing an uprising, and then many thousands of people will die, so we need to take him out now preemptively. And I'll say, like, Daida might not be a complete, like, douchebag, but he's pretty easily manipulated too, you know? He so desperately wants to be the best king in the world that he's willing to believe anything to do it. So, honestly, I don't know. I don't think he's really that bad of a character. He's just getting manipulated, honestly. I feel like this episode kind of shows that, because later, actually, we see a scene where he's dreaming, and we get a glimpse of Pandora's box, which is really cool. I did not think we'd get Pandora's box in this show, but it really makes sense if you think about it. This is a fantasy series after all. We've seen giant serpents and all that stuff in it. We've seen shadow creatures. Pandora's box is not out the realm of possibility. And in this dream, he actually gets a warning from his mother saying, do not open this box no matter what. But of course, being a show, he does. Because who listens to their mother? Let's be honest. But no, he opens it and a bunch of black hands start coming out. How do I explain this? If you've seen ReZero, it's kind of like those hands, the black hands. And they just start coming out of the ground, and we see that Bojji appears. And the mirror's there narrating everything, and she says Bojji represents hope. He is one of the only people that can save Daida from this evilness. But then Bojji starts getting beat down by these hands, symbolizing that, hey, if you want to achieve your goals, you have to take him out. So, of course, he wakes up screaming from that. And we see that he wants the king's power. Because I didn't mention this earlier, but the mirror did mention to him that they have to steal King Boss's power. How they're going to do it, I'm not quite sure yet. And he didn't want to do it at first until he had that dream. But then once he had it, he realized that, maybe I do need this. Maybe I'm not good enough on my own without this, you know? So it's really a head scratcher. Like, what's going to happen? What are their methods? How are they going to do it? But I'm sure we'll find that out at a later time. But all right, we transition to Bojji and all of them having dinner and all that. And they get attacked by some bandits, apparently. And of course, they're all freaked out. So once they go to sleep later, Domas actually goes out and he doesn't believe it's bandits, actually. He believes it's Bepin, who we all thought was previously killed in the previous episode. So it really begs the question, like, what happened to him, you know? Is it really him? Is it someone using his weapons? We don't know. That's something to find out. But they eventually travel to a place called Hell's Gates, which is a giant hole in the ground that shoots out lava every couple minutes. It's honestly pretty intimidating looking at it. It's very cool looking, but very intimidating if you think about it. So Domas actually sends... I wrote his name down. Hokaru. He sends him out to go look for a place for them to sleep, and him and Bojji actually go and check out the Hell's Gates. And he's explaining to him about it. And he's saying, Bojji, why don't you come get a closer look? And right then and there, that's red flags. That is red flags. The second he was saying something like that, I just had a gut feeling like, no, Domas, don't do it. And he does. He pushes Bojji in there, which is crazy because we spent the whole first half of the episode showing how much he cares about this kid. But then he does that. And then as he's walking away, he starts maniacally laughing. But it quickly turns into tears. You know, he quickly starts breaking down after it. So it really begs the question, like, if he cares about him so much, why would he try to kill him, you know? Like, what's actually going on here? Because, yeah, they're on a trip right now. He's sent there by the queen, but he clearly has an ulterior motive, you know? So, like, really begs the question, like, what's going on there? Whose side is he really on? And all that. And I assume we'll find out at a later episode, but yeah, it's kind of a head scratcher. If you think about it. Is Bojji actually dead? Like, I mean, obviously we have more episodes, so I kind of doubt it, but I don't know. It's like, what a way to end the episode. Because we end with Daida and the mirror going to the burial site of the king to apparently enact whatever their plan is to steal his strength. So, yeah, I'm quite curious where we're going next. This was a interesting episode. It was really, like I said, it wasn't a, oh my god, I can't believe that happened kind of episode, but it didn't need to be. It was a world-building and character-driven episode, which are arguably just as good. You know, we got a lot more detail into Domas and his personality and all that. And I'm very curious to know why he did that. But we'll see later on. But yeah, you guys let me know how you felt about this episode, honestly, in the comments. I'm very curious to read all of them and figure it out. Like, why do you think he did that? Without cheating and looking ahead, why do you think he did that? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think his motives are in doing so? But yeah, guys, I think that'll be it for today's episode. If you liked it, leave a like, obviously. That shows me that you like it and you're digging what I'm doing. I very much appreciate all the likes too. So leave them, guys. And yeah, just let me know that in the comments. And I hope you're excited for the next episode, because I am. Hopefully we start getting some answered, But yeah, guys, that'll be it for today's episode. I hope you all have a great day, week, month, and year. And until next time, deuces, and have a blessed day.